How's it going, everybody? Well, it was a beautiful night under the lights in Lambeau Field, whiteout conditions, and it was a great game. The Green Bay Packers defeat the Washington Commies by a score of 27-18, and I know that sounds a little close, but this game was not close. Late garbage time touchdown for the Commies made this game seem a little bit closer than what it was, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. The Packers, again, for the second straight week, dominate through offense, defense, special teams. It was just amazing. The Packers came out hot, scoring 2 quick touchdowns, and the defense was just dominant the entire game. It was amazing. Personally, and I'm going to go out there and say it, in my opinion, this is the best Packers defense I've seen in my time of actually paying attention to Packer football. Granted, when Favre was playing in his early years in the late 90s, I was very young, so I didn't really watch or really understand it. So personally, this Packers defense is the best that I've seen. When we'll cover all that, but I do want to make a few notes before we start. The Green Bay Packers in this game were without starting left guard Aaron Banks and starting right tackle Zach Tom. They were both out with injuries. Unsure when they're going to be returning, but they were filled in. The spots were filled in tonight with Belton, Jordan Morgan, and Kennard. And throughout the night, there were some ups and downs with those gentlemen, but overall, the O-line played fairly well tonight. Also, Nate Hobbs was in tonight. This was the first time we got to see him in action, which was nice to see. I've been excited about seeing him on the field. I was happy to see him tonight. So, now to get into it. As always, we'll start with the offense, so we'll start with our quarterback, Jordan Love, who was 19 of 31, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So again, Jordan, in my opinion, played better tonight than he did against Detroit. There really were no throws that he had that seemed like bad. I think he played very, very well. He was only sacked twice, and he did truck a human being, and I thought killed him for a second, but it was pretty great. Then we'll get into rushing. Josh Jacobs, he ran the ball 23 times for 84 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, the star of the night was Tucker Krafty. He had a career high in yards today. He had 6 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. He was just on it tonight. Absolutely on it. So it was really, really, really great to see Tuck do that. Just incredible tonight. Totally incredible. Dontavian Wicks got more involved tonight, which I was really happy to see. 4 receptions for 44 yards. He caught the first couple of the balls of the game. So I was really happy to start to see Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love getting him involved. I think it's important that he gets involved, especially with last year being a down year for him. A lot of drop passes, but he played very, very well tonight. Romeo Dobbs, 3 receptions, 28 yards, and a touchdown. So Romeo being pretty consistent again. Matthew Golden, in my opinion, was I don't want to say a letdown, but I do want to say there was a lot of potential there tonight. He had 2 targets, no receptions, and the 2 targets that he had would have been huge, big 80, 90-yard touchdowns. He got beat the defense twice, and the ball just a little overthrown each time. Would have been really nice. And then Jaden Reed. Man, Jaden Reed almost had a touchdown tonight, which was called back due to a hold. But Jaden Reed, as he was going down, hit the ground, and we found out later that it is a broken collarbone. So unfortunately, Jaden Reed is going to be out indefinitely. Matt LaFleur said in his post-game press conference that he does expect Jaden to play at some point this season later on. But it is just heartbreaking to see Jaden Reed go down, man. I've said this a lot. I think he's a superstar. I have a lot of faith in him. I think he's a great player. It just sucks to see him go down. And I hope him nothing but the best and he heals up quick. Because the Packers are going to need him, especially for a playoff push. They're going to need him. So it sucks, and it's going to get these guys like Wicks and Matthew Golden and Savion Williams to step up and fill in those roles. Of course, we have Christian Watson who will be returning in hopefully in a few weeks. So just sucks to see, and I hope nothing but a quick, fast recovery, and hopefully we see Jaden back on the field real soon. And then let's get to the shining stars of the game, our defense. The defense today had 8 pressures on Jaden Daniels, 4 sacks, and 5 pass blocks. Absolutely just dominant again. I think that Jaden Daniels was under a lot of pressure. He was scrambling a lot, getting the ball out. He had to get the ball out quick. He was uncomfortable all night long, and that's what I love to see. Absolutely love to see it. And I think it showed even more from the Packers pass rush that they were able to put a quarterback like Jaden Daniels in a lot of trouble. And this is a mobile quarterback, unlike Jared Goff, who's not very mobile, but Daniels is very mobile, and the Packers made him uncomfortable all night long. Well, let's check out some of the stats. Edrin Cooper had 7 tackles and a half sack. Javon Bullard, he had 5 tackles. Quay Walker had 4 tackles. Rashawn Gary, 2 tackles and a sack. Devontae White had a sack. Micah Parsons had a half a sack and a crap load of pressures. Pressure. That was Micah Parsons tonight. Brooks, he had half a sack, and Sorrell, the rookie, also had half a sack. Just the way in the first 2 weeks this Packers defense has got to the quarterback is absolutely incredible. It really is fun to watch. Getting into the backfield a little bit, Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine together combined had 10 targets their way, only 2 catches for 16 yards. That's it. So they both played very well. That was wonderful to see. I'm a big Keyshawn Nixon fan and a big Carrington Valentine fan. So to see those 2 guys playing very well on the field and really locking these wide receivers down is wonderful. It's awesome. And I really hope that it becomes consistent every week. And if this does stay consistent, I mean, this is going to be fun. Also, a side note, with Micah Parsons playing as well as he did today and last week, but mostly tonight, he did the post-game interview for Thursday with the Thursday Night Football crew, and Packer fans were chanting, "Thank you, Jerry," while Parsons was sitting down. I just think that's funny. I also saw something on Twitter that said, if the Green Bay Packers win a Super Bowl this year, mainly because of Micah Parsons, that the Packers should put a statue of Jerry Jones outside of Lambeau. I agree. I think that I would hope the Packers do it just to troll. I think that'd be hilarious. Let's get into And then kicking, Brandon McManus was 2 for 3. He missed one. He doinked. There were a couple doinks tonight. It was a doink fest on Thursday Night Football. But yeah, he hit 2. Missed one. That's okay. I'd obviously not want to see any missed field goals, but it was all right. Getting into some of the Commanders' stats, or the commies, as I like to say. Daniels was 24 for 42, 200 yards, and 2 touchdown passes. One of those touchdown passes being garbage time. Austin Eckler was the commies' leading running back. 8 attempts for 17 yards. He did unfortunately leave the game late with what they were saying was Achilles, I think, and nothing but prayers for him, man. I mean, that sucks. That sucks to see. He was carted off the field, and yeah, that just sucks. So I'm hoping for nothing but the best for Austin Eckler. I think he's a fantastic player, and you just hate to see these players go down with what looked like a non-contact injury, and that just sucks to see. So hoping for nothing but the best for him. Zach Ertz was their leading receiver, 6 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. He also, I believe, caught the 2-point conversion, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, don't quote me. But Zach Ertz playing very, very well. I think he's a great tight end. I always think he has been. But he played well tonight. Debo also had a touchdown, so Debo Samuel, honestly, I forgot he was there. I also forgot Val Miller was commie. So it's been a while since free agency. So, and then one of the big things, Matt Gay, 1 for 3 on field goals. He had one that he doinked, and then another one where it's just a little off. But those definitely helped the Packers. Typically don't see Matt Gay missing that much, but yet here we are. Let's go over some team stats. Time of possession was split. The Washington Commanders had 27 minutes 34 seconds compared to the Packers 32 minutes and 46 seconds. The Commies had 15 first downs compared to the Packers 22. Third down didn't go well for either team, especially for the Packers in the second half. The Commies were 5 of 16 and the Packers were 5 of 12. And then on fourth down conversions, the Commies were 1 for 3 and the Packers were 0 for 1. The Commies ran 65 plays compared to the Packers 63, so pretty even. This was a big difference tonight, and I think something that I hope that with a little bit of the mini bye week that the Packers are able to take care of this. The penalties. The Packers had 10 penalties for 77 yards compared to the Commies 5 for 30. The penalties concern me, especially the holding that cut 7 points off the board. False start, just some boneheaded stuff, and some of these penalties are drive killers, which hurt the Packers a lot tonight. The Packers, I think left like 21 points on the board that they probably should have got. This game should have been over at halftime, although it was pretty much over. The Commies did stick around a little bit, but. And that happens because you don't finish drives, and these drives don't get finished because of penalties that are just drive killers. So I hope that that's something that the coaching staff really focuses in on through this mini bye and in the next week of practice. Looking ahead to next week, the Green Bay Packers will head to Cleveland for their first road game of the year. So that will be fun. I'm assuming the Cleveland Browns are going to have Joe Flacco out there. Maybe. We'll see how Cleveland plays this week. And the Commies are going to have a home game against the Vegas Raiders. So that should be an interesting game for the Commies. Overall, Like I said, the Packers were on fire tonight. They played very, very well. And the Commies, for the most part, I think they were just under a lot of pressure. I still do think the Commies are a good football team. I think they're a playoff team. And I think Jaden Daniels is a very, very good quarterback when he has time. Tonight he did not have time. He still has weapons like Scary Terry and Debo and Zach Ertz. The Commies have these weapons. So the Commies are a good. They're a good football team, and I think that there's a good possibility the Packers do see them in the playoffs come in January. Couple final things. Like I said earlier, this defense is special. This Green Bay Packers defense, led by Jeff Hafley, is absolutely incredible. And this team has yet to play a complete game. We had last week, where the first half was very, very good for the offense, and the second half it sputtered out. Kind of the same thing happened tonight. First half was very, very good for the offense, and it kind of sputtered out. We also have players that are injured that'll be coming back soon. So this team isn't even at full strength, and they're not playing complete games, and they're still dominating. So when they start playing complete games, and they have these guys come back from injury, and this Packers team's at full strength, better watch out. This Packers team is special. I don't, I'm not just trying to say it because I'm a Packer fan and I'm kind of a homer, but this Packers team is special. It seems that way. It seems, I know we're only 2 weeks in, but the Packers have dominated two teams that made the playoffs last year. A team that, in the Blue Kitties, that won 15 games, and a team like the Commies who went to the NFC Championship last season. So this is a special Packers team. I really feel that. And I can't wait. I'm so excited for the rest of this season. That this is going to be fun. This Packers team is good, and I have faith that this team is special. So, great game tonight. The Packers have a mini bye this weekend, and we'll be back at it next week in Cleveland. So, as always, thanks for watching, and go Pack Go.